okay, it just made me really happy. Yeah, this book made me miserable. Like, I'm okay if it makes sense, but it didn't make sense here. It just seems even more pathetic. The ending was so anticlimactic, so predictable, but we don't talk about that because it was just so good. They seriously look cute. And Alexander is penniless. That is everyone on penniless. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Yasmin, but my friends all call me Yazzie and you guys can too. Today we are going to be ranking the 51 books that I have read this year. Wow, that's a lot. And this video is also featuring my current crochet work in progress. This blanket that I ran out of yarn for. It's actually so not thick, but it's big enough to keep me warm for right now, so it is okay. As you can see, my bookshelf is very bare because I have all of my books around me. By the way, this is not based on my rankings of books, because as I was looking through my rankings, I was like, some of this stuff is not right. So this is purely based off of vibes that I was feeling last night, and probably by tomorrow this will change, but as of right now, this is my ranking. Books that are at the bottom of this list, I didn't necessarily not like them, I just read much better books, if that makes sense, okay? Just keep that in mind when you see some books towards the bottom that you might be a little bit like, Yazzie, what was that for? But let's get into it. 51 books. At the very bottom, number 51, we have The Day Shelley Woodhouse Woke Up. Now, the reason this is at the bottom is entirely my own fault. This was not YA. This was not appropriate for me, in my opinion, and it's completely my fault. I didn't do my own proper research into it, and so I did skip very large portions of the book. I didn't do the proper research, so yeah, that's just there. Number 50, we have The Silent Hunter. I don't remember anything. It was a mystery. It was set at a college campus. It had something to do with an English teacher, but that is genuinely all I remember from it. And I remember when I was reading it, like the plot twist, like the murderer reveal, I was just like, oh wow. It wasn't very shocking at all, and so I don't think that makes a very good mystery book, in my opinion. After that, we have Such Charming Liars by Karen McManus. The reason this is so low is because I was just so disappointed by it. Like, I was really looking forward to this book. It's basically a heist gone wrong, okay? So that sounded so exciting to me, but I just think it was executed so poorly. It had so much potential. I still think I gave it a 3.5 stars, honestly, which now that I'm looking back at it, I honestly don't think it deserved. At number 48, we have No Place to Hide by Megan Lally. The plot was so predictable, and especially for a thriller, that really upset me, honestly. So in this book, our main character, Brooke, is, you know, the perfect girl, and so when she gets accepted into her dream college, her and her friend go to a bonfire to celebrate, of course. But then when they leave the party, an SUV starts tailing them. But the man from the SUV calls her and he says, Brooke, the truth needs to come out about an incident that occurred to you last year. If you tell the truth, I will let you and your friend go. The way that the book is structured, it has time jump POV, so the current POV and from the year before at the event of the incident. It just made the book so incredibly predictable. Like, no joke, I guessed the entire plot before I even got to 100 pages. After that, we have The Elite by Kira Cass. I think I'm not built for love triangles, because that's what really annoyed me in this book. It was America constantly going back and forth between her two love interests, and so this has genuinely made me think, okay, I'm not one for back and forth love triangles. Like, I'm okay if it makes sense, but it didn't make sense here, and so America was annoying me so much that it just really threw off the whole book for me. But I do love this series. I just did not like this book. I just want to let you guys know that I finished a lot of series this year. It was actually really hard for me to rank some of the books in the series, so a lot of them will probably change by tomorrow. But the next one we have is, let me find it, Death Cure by James Dashner. This is the third final book in the Maze Runner trilogy. Oh wait, no, there's more books in it, isn't there? No, there's like prequels and stuff. Yeah, no, my bad. The third book, the ending? Okay, this is the ending to the original trilogy, okay? I love this series so much. I just think the ending of it could have been so much better. I just think it was very uneventful. I think it could have been much more high stakes and exciting than it was. I just remember when I was reading this, it was just like, okay, I'm reading it, the story's almost finished, you know. Oh, after that, on my Kindle, I read Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I don't remember what happened. This was like one of the very first few books I read this year. Oh, I got it. The main character was in a coma. Yeah, she was in a coma. Like, she could still hear everything that was going on around her. And, oh my gosh, I'm remembering. Okay, and then we had like another time jump POV to the events following up to what put her in the coma. So I think it was like the week before or something. I don't remember what the plot twist was. This was a thriller, so like surely there was some kind of plot twist, right? But I genuinely, for the life of me, cannot remember it. But I remember it was good. Like I think I read it in like 2 or 3 days. So it definitely had me hooked. This one might ruffle a few feathers, but we have The Sea of Monsters. This one was just not nearly as good as the others in the series, I think. That is just my opinion. It was just not as exciting as the rest of the book in this series. But this is basically just your classic quest, go get something, save some people book. This one might ruffle a few more feathers, and I'm honestly really scared to say it, but reckless. Okay, no, don't come for me. Please do not come for me. But I just think this book was lacking plot, especially compared to the rest of the series. I think it's much more focused on the romance than the fantasy aspect of it, which doesn't make it bad. I think it really was just a filler between book 1 and book 3, which is perfectly fine. But that just means it wasn't as good as the rest of the series. I like it, I don't love it. After that, I'm going to put Baking It by Portia McIntosh. A little shout out to Portia McIntosh. All of her books are closed door and they're all on Kindle Unlimited, so whenever, I'm on holiday and stuff, I'm always binging her books. They are seriously so much fun. I forgot our main character's name, but her life was going really bad. And she has a twin sister, and one day her sister calls her out of the blue, says, hey, I need you to come to town and pretend to be me so, like, my neighbors don't judge me or something because her husband got in trouble. Look after the kids, run some errands, just seem perfectly normal, and you'd be doing me a massive lifesaver. And so our main character, she's like, you know what, I've got nothing going for me, hell yeah, why not? And so she goes, does that, meet this guy. I don't know how the guy got there, I actually genuinely do not remember, but they end up getting really close. It's a cute little rom-com. I think it was genuinely so funny. I remember laughing at this book a lot. All of Portia McIntosh's books make me laugh a lot. I love them so much. They're seriously so fun. This is where it gets confusing because all of these next books I like. Okay, like I would even go to the lengths to say that I love. Alright, but the problem is I am very easy to please. I kind of give out 4 and 5 stars like pennies, okay? So, we're gonna bear with me as we're going through this list. Anyways, the next book is The Plastic Magician, and this is a spin-off book to one of my favorite series that I actually never have talked about, and I've never seen anyone else talk about it either, and that is the Paper Magician trilogy. It is so much fun, oh my gosh, and it's genuinely got such a unique magic system, but basically anyone could go to a magician academy and train to be a magician, and these magicians are allowed to these magicians are allowed to magic man-made elements, okay? So you have things like paper, plastic, rubber, glass. It's really cool. In this spin-off, our main character is a plastic magician, and she is living with her mentor to get her apprenticeship. And they discover some new groundbreaking technology in the plastic industry, and the mentor's rival steals his blueprints from him. And so our main character, she tries to go and get those blueprints back. And I remember it was just so much fun. I loved being in that world again. At number 40, we have The Scorched Trials, second book in the Maze Runner series. Again, I just think this book was uneventful. Honestly, in this whole series, the first one was 100% my favorite because, yeah, I just think the second two were sort of lacking. I personally think the quality just went down. They just didn't live up to the first one, which makes me really sad. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this one. I was just kind of bored throughout it, honestly. Could have been better. After that, we have The Lightning Thief, the first book in Percy Jackson. I loved it. 100% I love it. This is a classic, okay? Oh, I forgot to say, a bunch of these books are rereads for me. Should I have said that? Reckless and Sea of Monsters were rereads for me, as well as The Lightning Thief. But this actually was my first year of reading the entire Percy Jackson series. I just read the first few a little while ago. If you need a brain break and something that's just exciting, questy, adventurous, it's a good time. Everyone knows. Go to Percy Jackson. Literally the best. Okay, at number 38, we have The Will and the Wild. I think this book is similar to Once Upon a Broken Heart with like a fatal kiss aspect. Gosh, I don't remember what this book was about. I want to tell you guys what this book was about because I really liked it. It was going to be a 5-star for me up until the ending. The ending was so anticlimactic. I remember the main male character, he had a really weird name. I'm trying to remember what it was about. There's no Wi-Fi in my room. Can I join my phone's hotspot? Can I do that? Low data. Okay. Oh, guys, I got a hotspot. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the book is about. Okay, I'm going to search it up. Michaelis. Okay, so our main character, Anna, in the woods near her home, there are lots of mistings, okay? So, like, these magical beings who, don't like humans. And when one of these mistings tried to steal an enchanted stone from Anna, she decides to make a deal with another misting, Michaelis. But his help isn't for free, and his price is a kiss. Now, what Anna doesn't know is that his kiss can steal her soul. and because she's an idiot, she kisses him. But for some reason, it only takes bits of her soul, and that traps Michaelis in the mortal world, and it begins to slowly eat at him. The only way he doesn't die is with another kiss. And so throughout this book, as they're kissing, there's only so long they can keep this up for, because eventually Anna will lose her soul, and after that Michaelis is stuck. And so they try and figure out how to break this connection between them and how to protect Anna's enchanted stone. I'm fairly certain I got that right, but it was sweet, it was romantic, it was cute. The next one we have is The Lost Bookshop. This was so cozy and magical and just a really fun time. I remember there was a bookshop and we had two different POVs, one in like France in the 19 somethings and then present day in Ireland. And the present day people were trying to look for this lost bookshop, and the 1920s, she is the owner of that bookshop that they're looking for. That's what it was. And it was really cool. It was really fun. It was cozy. It was just really magical, and I really liked it. So I'm editing my video right now and I realized that I skipped over number 36. And that was My Sister's Grave. I don't remember the author. I don't really remember anything about it other than it was this mystery, and the main detective's sister went missing like years and years ago, and so in this book she finally figured out like who did it, or like she was trying to. Yeah, it was good. I put it this high up because I remember I finished it really quick, but I honestly don't remember that much about it, but it was good and I forgot to talk about it at all, so After that, A Cuban Girl's Guide. Oh wait, I have that somewhere. I have that book. Oh, okay. A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. This was a really cute romance book set in England. Leela or Lila, I can't remember. But after a really bad breakup, she just depressed. She does nothing. She stays home all day. And her parents worry about her. And so her parents decide to send her to her aunt who lives in England. And over there, she meets this really sweet boy named Orion who works at his dad's tea shop. And he appoints himself as her new tour guide around England. As they spend a lot of time together, Leela forgets about everything that happened to her before, and you know, she's happy again. And the story just goes from there. It's really sweet. I would 100% recommend. It's just really cute. The next book we have is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I honestly just didn't like reading about Snow. Like, I don't know if we're supposed to sympathize with him, but I just can't. How could you have beef with a 16-year-old girl because of an ex 60 years ago? That's what I don't seem to understand. It just seems even more pathetic. But it was really interesting to, you know, see what he went through and why he is the way that he is, even though I do not think it is justified at all in any way. It did give me a bit of a headache to try and find out the melody of all the songs in this book, because you know when you're reading a book and there's a song in it, and so you're just kind of going, yeah, I totally know what's happening. I do not. After that, where did it go? Like, guys, I swear I'm losing all my books left, right, and center. At number 33, we have Games Untold. This is a collection of short stories from the Inheritance Games trilogy, which I don't really think is a trilogy anymore, honestly. I really loved all the novellas in this one, except for That Night in Prague. I think that one was really boring. But a lot of these were just, you just know those small interactions in families, you know, when they're all just being themselves and they're with one another and they're just spending good quality time. Those little moments in books genuinely make me so happy, and that's sort of the reason why I love this book so much. Tobias and Hannah's story, it made me so sad. Yeah, there were lots of things in this book that I really loved, except for that one novella. Okay, number 32, Never Lie. This was a really good thriller. It kept me excited throughout the entire thing. I read it in like 2 or 3 sittings, honestly. The ending just wasn't, oh my gosh, I never ever would have thought of that. I personally like thrillers where it's more like I would never ever think that, and that is just so mind-blowingly out of this world that it's changed my perspective on just everything. Those are the kind of thrillers that I give 5 stars. Okay, and this was just not one of those, but when I do say that, it was really fun and it was really good. And Alexander is penniless. That is one on penniless. I got up and made myself a cup of tea because I have a bit of a tummy ache. Tea always makes me feel better. But at number 31, we have The Selection. Just think of a YA royal bachelor. That's what this is. Okay, but it is seriously, oh, and dystopian. But it is literally so much fun. And Maxon is just an absolute sweetheart. Honestly, I love him so much. He's so sweet. And they're also all super short. I read each book within 2 days. After that, we have The Titan's Curse, the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series. This is where the series took a turn for the worst. This was also a reread for me, but I remember when I first read this, I was just like, whoa, this is nothing like what the first two. It really sets the tone for the rest of the series. But regardless, it was so much fun, so exciting. It made me sad and it made me laugh. After that, we have Divergent. This was a really difficult one for me to place because I don't think it was a good book, but it was one of the most addictive books that I have read this entire year. I read the entire thing in 3 sittings. I personally didn't really connect to any of the characters that much, but it was just so exciting and like fast paced that it still had me 100% hooked regardless of whether I really liked the characters. At number 28 we have Wonder. This was a bit of a surprise for me. I honestly did not expect to love this book as much as I did. This book follows 10-year-old Augie and he looks different from everyone else and it has greatly impacted his life. Everybody has judged him for it. And this book is the story of his first year at school. So he's been homeschooled for most of his life, but then his parents decide to send him to school. It's just a story of how he navigates these obstacles that school brings in his life and also how he can become more comfortable with himself. And it's just really sweet, really wholesome. I think it teaches a very valuable lesson that anybody could appreciate. It also has different POVs from people in his life, so you can see how he has impacted others and, you know, the good impact he's had on those people. And I think it's just really sweet. I think it's a really brilliant book. After that we have Legendary. This is the second book in the Caraval trilogy. This book took me a little bit of getting used to because instead of following our main character in the first book, Scarlet, it follows her sister Donatella. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not like Tella that much in the first book, but then definitely like towards midpoint of this book I really warmed up to her. I believe she would really just do anything for her sister, and that is something that I genuinely think is so brave about her. There is lots of Tella hate. Tella hate will not be tolerated on this channel because she is an amazing character. She's an incredible sister, and I think this book was so much fun because it was basically an entire opposite of Caraval. And I also love the way that this expands to the world and the universe. It introduces more characters, more people, just more things that made it so much more exciting. After that we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I genuinely love this book so much. I love this entire series, but honestly this was my least favorite book in the series. It was amazing, don't get me wrong, like the plot twists had me gagged, but for some reason it took me a little bit of time to get into. I don't know why. The thing I love especially most about this series is that they feel like you're there solving the crimes with the characters. Although I never would have guessed the stuff, even as I had everything laid out in front of me, I never would have gotten it. It makes you feel smarter. I don't know how. Just seeing the interview transcripts and the photos and the diagrams is just really, really immersive and interactive. I just love it so much. After that, we have Killjoy. I don't know why. I actually don't know why. This is a prequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is basically just a 1920s murder mystery birthday party for one of Pip's friends. I loved it so much. I think it was so fun. But I honestly just think it was a nostalgia of going back to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder world and with all those characters and stuff that made me love this book so much. At 24, we have The One. This is the third final book to the original trilogy of the selection, and this was my favorite book in the series. But the reason I loved this book so much was because America finally chose who she wanted to be with, and that genuinely made me so relieved because I could not read another book about her going back and forth. Like, I physically could not. But I love this book so much. Maxon is genuinely, I know I said this before, but he's seriously just the sweetest guy. Next is Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. This book follows our main character, Izzy. She finds out that her father, who she knew nothing about, is actually the crown prince of Japan. So that literally makes Izzy a princess. And so she flies out to Japan to, you know, meet her father, his family, the royals, and she tries to learn how to be a princess. It's a really brilliant coming of age story, and I just love the scenes of Japan, and also the romance subplot is so adorable. I love it so much. Next book is The Battle of the Labyrinth. This is the fourth book in Percy Jackson. Just the way that these characters grow up. But yeah, this is my second favorite book in the series. It was my first time reading this, and let me say, this book was wow. Like, and this one had me laughing a lot. In my opinion, this was the funniest one in the series. After that was Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is a novella to the Powerless series. It's happening at the same time as Powerless, but this follows Peyton's best friend, Adina. It made me really, really sad, but I didn't cry. I wanted to cry. I really wanted to cry over this book, but I just didn't. But Adina and Mac are so sweet. Mac makes me laugh. He's seriously so funny. But yeah, honestly, that book just made me sad. it just made me really sad to think about. The next book that I have on this list is Emma, Jane Austen. This is the first classic that I've ever read. I'm gonna be honest, it took me a very long time to read this book, and I didn't like it when I first finished it, and I honestly didn't like it as I was reading it, but now that it's sat with me for a little bit, I can really appreciate it for what it is. It's a really, really good book, and I think it was just my mentality towards classics in the first place that made me not like it, and also just my expectations of it. It was my own fault that I did not like this. I think if I was to read this again, I would read it much quicker. Not even just quicker, just appreciate it more. After that, I read Betting on You. This was the first Lynn Painter book that I read. It's just one of the sweetest rom-coms I've ever read. It's so cute. I genuinely love Charlie and Bailey so much. They're seriously the cutest, and they're so sweet and funny, and I just love them so much, and I love this book, and I need to go get more of Lynn Painter's books because why haven't I read them yet? Okay, number 18, Finale, the first final book in the Caraval trilogy. This one expanded on the Caraval universe even more. I seriously loved it so much. It was so magical and twisty with high stakes, and it was so exciting, and I love seeing all the character development with the characters in this book. I love seeing all the different relationships within them. The thing that made me kind of sad about this book is that we have both Scarlett and Tella's POVs, but Tella has a lot more page time than Scarlett does. Like, a lot more. So that just made me a little bit sad because I love both the sisters so much, so I kind of just wish it was a more even page time, but I still love this book regardless for the story and its plot. Maze Runner, Maze Runner, where is my Maze Runner? Okay, next up is Maze Runner. I think everyone knows what Maze Runner is. I very much believe that this is the best one in the series. I think the quality just kind of went downhill. It just got less exciting. I think there's only so much you could do after such an amazing first book. This one was just so exciting, and then the second two were just like so meh. It just made me so sad, honestly. But this is 100% the best book in the series, and I love this one so much. I need to move them all again. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stop this. Okay, next book, number 16. Guys, we're already up to 16. Okay, number 16, Sunrise on the Reaping. Suzanne Collins, a prequel to the Hunger Games. This book was traumatic, to say the least. I personally was not in the right mind space when I was reading this book, so I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. I just came off a really, really bad book hangover, and so I just read this book. I don't know why I read this book out of all books, but I feel like if I read this book after literally any other book, I would have liked it more. But regardless, it was still amazing and incredible. Best believe I'm going to be crying in that movie theater. God, I hope so. I hope I cry. It didn't make me cry. I need a book that will make me sob and cry my eyes out. That is what I need one day. Number 15, Never Thought I'd End Up Here by Anne Liang. This was just a sweet little romance that I did not expect to love as much as I did. This book follows Leah, and after she embarrasses herself at her cousin's wedding in China, her parents decide to send her on a travel program to China to, learn more about the culture, where she's from, practice her Mandarin a little bit. But in this travel group is one of her childhood enemies, Cyrus. Something really, really bad happened when they were children that makes Leah hate him down to the bone. And so she comes up with a plan to get revenge on him while on this trip. But as they explore more of China and, they're with each other for a lot longer, she wonders, can she actually go through with it? I think it's just really, really sweet. The romance between them is adorable. I loved seeing the scenery of China. I think it was so beautiful. And I really, really love reading books that are set in other countries. I think it's so magical because lots of books are sort of set in the same places, like in England or America. And I think just seeing a book set somewhere else is just such a breath of fresh air that I really, really love this book. Okay, next up we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is a tiny novella, but it was the second classic that I read this year, and I really, really love this one. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. It's more of a horror book, and it genuinely had me on the edge of my seat, my heart racing. It terrified me, honestly, because I was reading this at night. Yeah, it was scary, which I honestly did not expect out of a classic. I know that sounds really bad and really ignorant, but my whole life I've been told that classics are really, really boring. Okay, so as I am exploring and adventuring in this new genre, it does surprise me because it goes against what I've been told. But yeah, I really love this one. I think if you're just trying to get into classics, 100% pick up this book. After that, we have The Prison Healer. This is the first book in the series. This is my new favorite series. ever. Like, absolutely, of all time, this is my new favorite series. I will say the first book was my least favorite, but that doesn't mean it's any less good. I just think it could have been better paced. But basically, this book follows our main character, Kiva Meriden, and she is 17 years old and has spent the last 10 years of her life in Zalindov, this death prison. And she survived by being the prison healer. But one day, when the rebel queen is captured and sent to this prison, Kiva is the one who is responsible to nurse her back to health so that she can complete the trial by ordeal, which is a set of trials that is only handed out to the most dangerous criminals. But when Kiva receives a message from her family outside the prison that tells her, "Do not let the rebel queen die, we are coming," she realizes this lady is not going to get any better. I can't let her die in the trial. And so she volunteers herself to complete the trial by ordeal. But no one has ever survived them. Now, as she's trying to figure out how to survive the trial by ordeal, a plague has swept across the prison and she has to try and figure out what is getting everyone sick, because bodies are literally just piling up. And this book is genuinely incredible. It has the most perfect romance subplot and also just some really, really crazy plot points that I think made this book so interesting. The reason that this is my least favorite book in the series though is because I do think it could have been better paced. Because I would say the first 50% of the book is really not that interesting. But once you get to the second half, it gets a lot better. Trust me. Guys, I'm trying to look for this book. I'm trying to look for the naturals. I seriously can't find it. Oh. Okay, I found it. Okay, but next up we have the naturals. I was seriously so excited to start this series. I genuinely heard nothing but good things about these books. I just think the found family, even like in the first book, you can tell that it's going to be one of the most incredible found family you've ever read about. The you chapters, these books, all the books in this series have this thing called you chapters, which are basically chapters from the serial killer's perspective. And when I tell you that they are the most terrifying things that I have ever read in my entire life, I am not even exaggerating. I'm pretty sure Jennifer Lynn Barnes has a PhD in psychology, so you know she's getting it right. Like, basically, I was staying up reading it for like 2 nights, and I was scared. I was really, really scared. But I still think it was so amazing and just so twisty and adventurous and seriously just so much fun. Okay, after that we have The Lost Olympian, and this book was genuinely like, it made me so sad to finish this book because I just loved it so much. I know there's more series with Percy and stuff. I know that there's Heroes of Olympus that I really want to read, but when I finished this book it felt like it was over, and like, I know it isn't, but it just felt like it. And so that made me really sad. But also, it's what the whole series has been leading up to, you know? It's like, you know it's gonna happen. And it hopefully has a good ending. But yeah, I love this book so much. It was 100% my favorite in the series. After that, we have Killer Instinct. I think for me, the reason that I like this more than the Naturals was just learning more about the characters and their past and the reason they are the way they are. Just learning more about people makes me like a book more. And so that's what we got. I'm yet to have read the rest of the series, but I can already tell that this series is going to be one of my new favorites. Number 9, Wandering Wild. I have not seen a single person talk about this book, and that genuinely makes me so sad because it is so good and you people are seriously sleeping on it. You people are sleeping on Lynette Noni. Honestly, I urge all of you guys to go and pick up a Lynette Noni book because it will change your life. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. Okay, I've only read 4 of her books, but when I tell you, I love them all so much. Okay, this book. Xander had the whole future of Hollywood right in front of him when an incident happened that labeled him as problematic, and so his public image needs desperate fixing. So his agent says, okay, the best way to fix this will be to hold a competition where one of your fans could win a 4-day long reality TV adventure with you. The fan who just so happens to win this is Charlie Hart, who absolutely despises things that he has done. The only reason she agrees to go on this adventure in the first place is because of her best friend. But when something on this trip goes horribly wrong and Charlie and Xander have to brave the wilderness by themselves with no guide, no survivalist, they have to learn to trust one another, not just in that sense, but also with themselves. It's seriously so sweet. It made me so happy, and I've never seen anybody talk about it, okay? I really need more people to read this. It also has a big focus on taking care of one's mental health, and I think that's something that's really important. And so just seeing that in a book and, you know, actually represented, I think it just made me really, really happy. And I love this book. It is so cute, it is so fun, and also serious when it needs to be, but genuinely just incredible. The next book is Table for Five. This is something that I read at the start of the year, but it has stuck with me. I honestly did not expect to love it as much as I did, but this book follows our main character Abby, who unexpectedly finds herself laid off from her job. And when she takes a step back, she realizes she really had nothing outside of her job. She kind of has no friends, no love life, just nothing at all. In a moment of desperation, she sits down at her local cafe's community table, you know, trying to find some friends. And there she meets four other really peculiar people who would not be friends in any other circumstances. And together they all join up to try and raise funds for a homeless charity. And they become really unlikely friends. I just think it's a really sweet book with really great morals and ideas that anyone could really appreciate it. And it's sort of just stuck with me. The fact that I can still remember it, and I read it in January. Most of the books I read back then I seriously do not remember, but I vividly remember this book and it just made me really happy. After that is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This book, again, really took a turn for the worse. I think it developed Pip's character a lot. I love it when an author could turn mystery books into a series and it doesn't feel boring. It feels just as interesting as the first one, whereas I feel like a lot of the time mystery series don't tend to do that, but this one was 100% still as exciting as the first one, dare I say even more so. So yeah, I really love this book. Next up, we have The Gilded Cage. This is the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy, and I don't know what to say about this one without spoiling the first, so I'm not going to say much, but I will say I really, really love Kiva and Jaren. I think they are so sweet, and this book builds a lot on their relationship and really sets it up for book 3 as well, and I really, really love this book in this series. And I know you guys have probably heard me say that like 15 times now, but I do. I really, really love it. At number 5, we have Powerless. I know that this was a reread for me, but I'm allowed to. This was the first ever romantasy that I've read, so I think it'll always be very, very important to me. In my opinion, this book in the series has the most fantasy element out of all the books, and so for that reason, it is my second favorite in the series. But I honestly just think it comes down to Kai and Peyton's relationship in this book that I just love so much. You know, just the banter, the back and forth. I just love them in this book, especially because they were so innocent back then, you know. But yeah, really love this book. At number 4, we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This book is just so amazingly magical. This was my introduction to Stephanie Garber, okay? And I feel like her writing, for me, I'm able to create such a detailed image in my head about what I'm seeing and the world around me with her books that I seriously love and cherish so much. And I just loved all the characters and all the twists and turns and just the dreamy fairy tale like feeling that this book gave me. I think I will forever be trying to chase this kind of fairy tale magic in a book. After that, we have As Good as Dead, the final book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. If I said Good Girl, Bad Blood took a turn for the worst, then this just fell off the cliff, okay? Because this book is traumatic at its very, very essence. Yeah, this book made me miserable, but in a good way, because if a book plays with your emotions like that, then that means it's a good book, obviously. But yeah, just Pip's character development is absolutely insane. I just think if you look at a book series and you can't even tell that the person from the last book is the same person as they were in the first book, you've done character development amazingly. And that is truly what I believe this book is and what made me love it so much. And it was genuinely also terrifying, and Loki gave me nightmares, but we don't talk about that because it was just so good. At number 2, we have Fearless, the last book. Actually, no, it's not the last book, is it? The last book to the original trilogy. I think this one was just so twisty-turny. It had me so addicted, okay? And this one, it also made me miserable. It seriously made me incredibly miserable. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. There were just so many bits in here that made me want to cry. Gosh, I'm looking at like the bits that I've tabbed right now and I'm just thinking, wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this book made me sad. It made me tear up. It did not make me cry. I have not cried over a book. Oh no, that's a lie. That's actually a lie. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, guys. I have completely forgotten. The Song of Achilles. Yeah, that one made me cry. Not like sobbing, but it made me cry. Like there were tears falling down my face. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Fearless. I'm sorry that I lied to you guys in the first place. But yeah, this book made me sad and it's really good. And I genuinely think it was an amazing conclusion to the trilogy. I think it made perfect sense. I think everything was laid out so beautifully from the first book. And so yeah, I especially love this so much. At number 1, we have The Blood Trader by Lynette Noni. This is the last book in the Prison Healer trilogy. The plot of this one, as well as the characters and the found family and the fantasy elements and just everything about it, this book, in my opinion, is genuinely perfect. The series could not have ended in a better way. The characters could not have been any better. It's amazing. It's brilliant. It's everything I needed in life. But yeah, that is the 51 books that I have read this year ranked. My opinion will probably change tomorrow, but that doesn't matter because as of right now, this is my ranking and I genuinely think it is pretty fair. But yeah, tell me what your favorite book that you read this year was, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a great day. I love you all and I will see you in the next one. Bye!